So what is a wireframe? Well, there are different types of wireframes. There is a wireframe for an entire website, and that's what you're looking at here. This is an example of the navigation of a website, and that is not the type of wireframe we will be creating or we need for our design to web page process. What we want to do is look at this not as an entire website and navigation for the website. We're going to look at it from a page basis. So here's an example of a page wireframe. And if you see, there's no styles, no design whatsoever on this page. What this page does is simply contain boxes that describe the content that goes within each area. So think of stripping out all the images, all of the colors. You're just looking at the content areas for a web page. And the reason this piece is important is it helps set up our coding piece. So this is not really something you consider when you're looking at the design from a graphic design standpoint. But this is one of the first steps you look at if you're going to take that design and convert it to a web page. Web pages have content areas, and when you're converting into HTML and CSS, the browser has to be able to create those content areas from the coding that you give it. And that's what this step assists us in working with. So what I have is our actual Scuba Blue design. It's been set up, it's been finalized. The next step is to take a look at this from a wireframe standpoint. So I have the PSD design wireframe file, and what I've done is taken the basic design and I've added a wireframe to it. In other words, I've created boxes as a separate layer for this design, and what that does is allow me to subdivide the web page, and then ultimately we will create coding for each one of these subdivided pieces of the page. Now I can also strip out the design, and there's my wireframe. So if you have access to the design, what you do is draw these boxes on top of the design, create it as an extra layer right on top of your design. Then I can simply turn off my design layer, and there's my wireframe. This one has a little bit more text in it than I would normally put, and that is just for your benefit in looking at this particular wireframe. So this is where we're going to begin in the coding process. So you take the design, you start to draw boxes on top of that design, you start labeling those different areas, and there it is. You end up with this. Just turn off the design at that point, and you have an instant wireframe. So that is a page design wireframe that you can use as a base as we begin to move into the coding side of this conversion process. So that is a wireframe.